is over. They are unhooking her. Everybody know the journey. It's been a long one. Well worth it.
Broadie, I made it.
Yes.
Woo!
Shania,
The cameras were rolling. Everyone was cheering and clapping. Denise had just walked out of the hospital after her very last cancer treatment. She was done. No more sitting in those big chairs getting medicine pumped into her body. No more feeling sick for days afterward. No more losing her hair or feeling too weak to get out of bed. Her family surrounded her, taking pictures and videos. They were all smiling so big their faces hurt. Denise's daughters were crying happy tears. This was supposed to be the best day ever. The day they could finally say the cancer was beaten. The day they could start planning for all the good things to come. Denise felt like she could breathe again. She started thinking about all the places she wanted to visit and all the things she wanted to do now that she was getting better. Maybe she would finally take that trip to Italy she had always dreamed about. Maybe she would be there when her grandchildren graduated from school. Maybe she would have many more birthdays and holidays with the people she loved. But while her family was celebrating and taking pictures, none of them knew something terrible. The person who was really making Denise sick was not the cancer at all. The real killer was waiting for her at home. He had been living with them all along, sleeping in the same bed, eating at the same table, pretending to care about her getting better. The real killer was her own husband, Cleveland. And he had been slowly murdering her for years without anyone knowing it, not even Denise herself.
Okay, fam, this is it. We are done with our last chemo session, and we are in celebration mode. There goes Mom. This is it.
This is it. It's over.
It is over. They are unhooking her. Everybody know the journey. It's been a long one. Well worth it.
Broadie, I made it.
Yes.
Woo!
Shania.
Go DC. Go Way to go, Mom.
Before we continue with Denise's story, I want you to know something important about her. Denise wasn't just a victim. She was a mother who made the best chocolate chip cookies in her neighborhood. She was the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthday and always sent cards. When her friends were sad, she would show up at their door with homemade soup and stay until they smiled again. She loved to sing in her car, badly, according to her family, but loudly and with all her heart. She collected little ceramic angels because she believed everyone needed protection. She never passed a stray dog without stopping to pet it. When Denise beat cancer the first time, she didn't just celebrate for herself. She volunteered at the cancer center, holding hands with scared patients and telling them they were braver than they knew. She understood what it meant to fight for your life. Denise believed in second chances and happy endings. She believed that people were basically good, even when they let her down. She believed that love was always worth the risk. That's why this story is so heartbreaking, because Denise trusted with her whole heart. She loved with everything she had, and that beautiful, trusting heart is exactly what Cleveland counted on when he decided to destroy her life. Remember that as we continue. Remember who Denise really was. Remember what the world lost when we lost her. And please wait. Don't scroll past. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and watch this video to the end, because the more we tell these stories, the fewer names we'll have to mourn.
You don't know my name? You don't? Guess. What's my name? Ma. Ma. What's my name? I'm your middle child. You don't know my name? Do you have any kids, girl? Huh? You got children? Huh? Ma. Mommy.
There's a special place in hell where Cleveland Broadie.
This is a true story about something very bad that happened to a real person named Denise. It is a story about how someone she trusted and loved hurt her in the worst way possible. Some parts of this story might make you feel sad, angry, or scared. That is okay. These feelings are normal when we hear about someone being hurt by a person who was supposed to protect them. This story is important to tell because it shows how some people can seem nice and loving on the outside, but be very dangerous on the inside. It teaches us that we should always tell the truth to people we love, especially when that truth could keep them safe. If you are reading this story, and it makes you think about someone in your own life who might be hurting you or lying to you, please tell a trusted adult. Everyone deserves to be safe and to know the truth about things that could affect their health and their life. Remember, what happened to Denise was not her fault. She trusted someone she thought loved her, and that person broke that trust in the most terrible way possible. Denise was 60 years old and still full of life. She worked hard every day and had a big smile that made everyone around her feel happy. She had raised her children and was enjoying being a grandmother. Life was good, but she was lonely sometimes. In 2012, Denise went to a Christmas party. The room was decorated with twinkling lights and everyone was laughing and having fun. That's where she met Cleveland Broadie. He was charming and funny. He made her laugh and paid attention to her in a way that made her feel special. Cleveland seemed like a gentleman. He opened doors for her and brought her flowers. He told her she was beautiful and said all the right things. After being alone for so long, Denise felt like she had found someone who truly cared about her. They spent 2 years getting to know each other. Cleveland was always sweet to her during this time. In 2014, they got married. Denise thought she had found her happily ever after. She believed she would spend the rest of her life with someone who loved her as much as she loved him. But Cleveland was not the man he pretended to be. He had been lying to Denise from the very beginning about something very important. He was carrying a sickness inside his body called HIV, and he knew it, but he never told Denise about it.
The only problem was Denise
By 2017, only 3 years after their wedding, Cleveland started showing his true self. Denise found out he was sneaking around with other women. He was kissing them and spending time with them behind Denise's back. When Denise discovered what Cleveland was doing, her heart was broken. She felt betrayed and hurt. She was also scared because she knew that if Cleveland was being intimate with other people, he could bring home diseases that could make her sick. Denise was smart and careful. She told Cleveland he had to take a test to make sure he didn't have any diseases before she would let him touch her again. This made Cleveland very nervous because he knew he had HIV. But Cleveland was sneaky. He found a way to take a test that wouldn't show his HIV. He was already taking special medicine that hid the virus in his body. The test came back saying he was healthy, but this was a lie. Denise was so angry about Cleveland cheating that she told him to pack his things and leave her house. She thought she was done with him forever, but Cleveland knew how to use her love against her. He begged and pleaded and promised he would never hurt her again. Because Denise loved him so much, she let him come back home. She thought people could change if they really loved you. She had no idea she was letting a killer back into her house. Not long after Cleveland moved back in, Denise found a hard lump in her breast. When she went to the doctor, they told her she had cancer. This news was scary and overwhelming, but Denise was a fighter. She went through months of chemotherapy. The medicine made her feel sick and tired. Her hair fell out. Some days she was too weak to get out of bed, but she kept going because she wanted to live. The doctors also did surgery to remove the cancer from her body. Denise had to change how she ate and how she lived to try to stay healthy. It was the hardest thing she had ever been through, but all her hard work paid off. On Valentine's Day in 2019, the doctors told her the best news she could hear. The cancer was gone. Denise cried happy tears. She thought she had beaten the worst thing that could happen to her. Denise started making plans for her future again. She wanted to travel to Italy, a place she had always dreamed of seeing. She wanted to watch her grandchildren graduate from school and get married. She wanted to have many more years of life and love and happiness. But even though the cancer was gone, something was still very wrong. Denise didn't know it yet, but the real enemy was still living in her house, sleeping in her bed, and slowly killing her every single day. While Denise was dying and her daughters were taking care of her, every day and every night, where was Cleveland? Where was the husband who had promised to love her in sickness and in health? Cleveland was nowhere to be found. He wasn't helping take care of Denise at all. He wasn't sitting by her bedside, holding her hand. He wasn't bringing her water or helping her eat. He wasn't even pretending to care. Denise got so sick that she couldn't stay in her own house anymore. She had to move into Karen's house so her daughter could watch her all the time and make sure she was safe. This should have been Cleveland's job, but he had already moved on to other things. While his wife was dying, Cleveland was already spending time with other women. He was out having fun and acting like he didn't have a wife at home who was fighting for her life. He was already planning what he would do with Denise's money and house after she was gone. Karen and Tammy knew something was very wrong with this whole situation. They couldn't understand why their mother was so sick when the cancer was supposed to be gone. They also couldn't understand why Cleveland wasn't helping or even seeming to care that his wife was dying. But they didn't know the truth yet. They didn't know that Cleveland was the reason their mother was dying. On March 31st, 2022, Karen decided to take her mum to a different hospital. She hoped maybe new doctors could figure out what was making her mother so sick. She was desperate for answers. The new doctors decided to do a test that the other doctors hadn't done. It was a test for something called HIV. HIV is a sickness that attacks your body's ability to fight other sicknesses. If you don't take medicine for HIV, it can turn into something even worse called AIDS. When the test results came back, Karen and Tammy's whole world fell apart. The test showed that Denise had HIV and had been sick with it for at least 5 years. All this time, while she was fighting cancer and getting weaker and weaker, the real sickness was HIV that had turned into AIDS. 2 days later, on April 2nd, 2022, Denise died. It was also Karen's birthday, which made the day even more heartbreaking. Instead of celebrating another year of life, Karen was saying goodbye to her mother forever. Karen and Tammy were not just sad, they were furious. They knew their mother had only been with one man during the time she got sick. That man was Cleveland. If their mother had HIV, it could only have come from him. But that meant Cleveland had known he was sick the whole time. It meant he had been lying to their mother for years. It meant he had watched her suffer and die, knowing he was the one who made her sick. The man who was supposed to love and protect Denise had actually been slowly killing her, and now she was gone forever, and it was all his fault.
You want me to take your picture? No? I can take your picture. No. Why? You look pretty. Tell me what today is and I won't take your picture. Now, what's today? Guess. Ma. What's today? Is it Tuesday? Huh? Wednesday? Huh? It's Wednesday? It's Monday. It's Valentine's Day. You care? You don't care? Want me to wash your hair? Ma, you want me to wash your hair? Let me come wash it. No? You want me to shut up and sit down? Let me shut up. Huh? Tell me to shut up then. Tell me. What's my name? Ma. Mommy. Mommy. What's my name? Ma. What's my name? You don't know my name? You don't? Guess. What's my name? Ma. Ma. What's my name? I'm your middle child. You don't know my name? Do you have any kids, girl? Huh? You got children? Huh? Ma. Mommy.
After Denise died, Karen and Tammy could have just been sad and tried to move on with their lives. But they couldn't do that. They knew something terrible had happened to their mother, and they weren't going to let Cleveland get away with it. The Ushu sisters decided to hire special people called private investigators to help them find out the truth. These investigators are like detectives who help families learn things that the police might not find out right away. Karen and Tammy spent their own money and time digging through Cleveland's medical records and paperwork. They looked through years and years of documents to find proof of what Cleveland had done. What they found made them sick to their stomachs. Cleveland had been getting treatment for HIV since 2006. That was 16 whole years before Denise died. Cleveland had known he was sick with HIV for 16 years, and he never told Denise about it. This meant Cleveland knew he had HIV when he met Denise at that Christmas party. He knew he had HIV when he married her. He knew he had HIV when he cheated on her. He knew he had HIV when she got cancer. He knew he had HIV when she was dying. And he never, ever told her. Even worse, because Cleveland was still married to Denise. When she died, he got to keep everything she had worked for her whole life. He got her house, her car, and all her money. He had killed his wife and then became rich because of it. Karen and Tammy took all the proof they had found to the police. In July 2023, the police finally arrested Cleveland. They said he was guilty of reckless conduct, which means he did something very dangerous on purpose without caring who got hurt. But it wasn't just Denise who Cleveland had hurt. 2 other women came forward and said Cleveland had given them HIV too. He had been going around having relationships with women and giving them this deadly disease without telling them he was sick. When Cleveland had to go to court, Karen stood up in front of the judge and told everyone why Cleveland was dangerous. She said if they let him go free, he would hurt more people because that's what he had always done. She said the people in their town needed to be protected from Cleveland. The judge first set Cleveland's bail at $1.5 million, which is a huge amount of money. But then the judge changed his mind and made it less, $450,000. Karen and Tammy were heartbroken because they knew Cleveland's new girlfriend had enough money to help him get out of jail.
I don't have any objection, but there is one witness who would like to address the court, Judge.
All right, wait a minute. You got a witness?
Correct.
Well, why didn't you call him when you were on your side?
I neglected to, Judge.
You ever done this before?
No, Judge.
Forgotten to call one? Call your witness. Let's get this moving, please.
Sir, will you please take the stand?
In March 2025, Cleveland got out of jail because his new girlfriend, Alice Williams, helped him pay the money to get free. Karen was terrified and angry. She knew Cleveland would hurt more people now that he was free. Karen made a video to warn everyone in her town. She told people to hide their wives, their children, and everyone they loved because Cleveland was dangerous and was walking around free. She said he had killed her mother and given HIV to other women, and he would probably do it again. Karen knew Cleveland was the type of person who would keep hurting people because he only cared about himself. He had already proven that he would lie and hurt people to get what he wanted, and being in jail for a little while wasn't going to change him. But then something wonderful happened. In April 2025, a group of people called a grand jury looked at all the evidence about what Cleveland had done to Denise. They decided that what Cleveland did wasn't just reckless conduct, it was murder. They said Cleveland had committed malice murder and felony murder. This means they believed Cleveland killed Denise on purpose by giving her HIV and never telling her about it. This was much more serious than the first charges. The police arrested Cleveland again. This time, they didn't give him a chance to get out of jail by paying money. He has to stay in jail until his trial is over. Karen and Tammy were so relieved. Finally, someone was taking what happened to their mother seriously. Finally, Cleveland was being charged with the crime that matched what he had actually done. He had murdered their mother. The case is still going on today. Karen and Tammy continue to fight to make sure Cleveland gets the punishment he deserves for killing their mother and hurting other women. They won't stop fighting until justice is done. This story isn't about someone who made a mistake. This is about someone who chose to kill his wife slowly. Cleveland knew he had HIV. He had known since 2006. That's many years before he even met Denise. Every single day, he took his medicine to keep himself healthy. He never missed a day. He was very careful about taking care of himself, but he never told Denise, not when they started dating. Not when they got married in 2014, not when she got sick, not even when she was dying. Think about how mean this was. Denise thought her cancer had come back. She was scared and confused. She went to the hospital over and over. The doctors gave her strong medicine that made her feel terrible. Her hair fell out again. She got very thin and weak. Cleveland watched all of this happen. He drove her to the hospital. He sat next to her when she got the medicine that made her sick. He held her hand. He pretended to be a good husband who was worried about her. But the whole time he knew the real reason she was dying. It wasn't cancer. It was the HIV he had given her. And he said nothing. Every morning when Cleveland took his HIV medicine, he was choosing to save his own life. Every morning when Denise didn't take HIV medicine, she was getting sicker because Cleveland never told her she needed it. This wasn't an accident. This was a choice Cleveland made every single day for years. Cleveland's lies show us that our world has big problems that let bad things like this happen. First, there are laws that say people with HIV must tell their partners. But these laws don't work very well. The police don't always catch people who break these laws, and when they do catch them, the punishment isn't strong enough. Second, many people are still scared to talk about HIV. They think it's shameful or embarrassing. This fear makes people afraid to get tested. It makes people afraid to tell the truth. And when people don't talk about HIV, innocent people like Denise get hurt. Third, the doctors and hospitals failed Denise too. She went to see doctors many times, She was very sick. Her body wasn't fighting off germs the way it should. But nobody thought to test her for HIV. They all thought it was just cancer coming back. If even one doctor had tested Denise for HIV, she might still be alive today. Last, we need to understand that what Cleveland did was hurt Denise on purpose. When someone gives another person a deadly disease without telling them, that's like hitting them or poisoning them. It's a way of hurting someone you're supposed to love and protect.
He did. So hide your wives, hide your children, hide your husbands, hide whoever, because Cleveland Broadie is back on the streets of Rockdale County and nobody's safe. He killed our mother. He gave her HIV, which ultimately turned to AIDS, and she died. There are several other victims who he had unprotected sex with, knowing that he was HIV positive, and did not inform them of his status. And I don't think it's going to stop there. He preyed on plenty of women during his time of freedom after my mother's death, and during my mother's sickness, he preyed on these women. And so I truly believe that he's roaming the streets of Rockdale, Covington, Snellville, McDonough, everybody in the surrounding area. So, hey, y'all be on the lookout.
But Karma had other plans.
Denise was 57 years old when she died. She'd already beaten cancer once. She was a fighter. She was strong and brave. Denise had plans for her life. She wanted to travel to Italy. She had never been there, and she was excited to see all the beautiful places she had read about. She had been saving money for this trip. She was excited about her grandchildren. They were graduating from school, and she had already bought a special dress to wear to their ceremony. She was planning a big party for the whole family. Denise was the kind of person who made everyone around her happy. She laughed a lot. She took care of people. She made good food for family dinners. She gave great hugs. But Cleveland took all of this away from her. The worst part is that Denise never got to choose what happened to her own body. If Cleveland had told her the truth, she could have decided what to do. She could have gotten HIV medicine right away. She could have lived for many more years. HIV doesn't have to kill people anymore if they get the right medicine. Or maybe Denise would have chosen to leave Cleveland. Maybe she would have been angry that he lied to her. Maybe she would have wanted to spend her last years with people who really loved her and told her the truth. But Cleveland never gave her that choice. He decided for her. He decided she didn't deserve to know what was happening to her own body. Even though Denise is gone, her family is still fighting for her. Cleveland is finally in trouble with the police. He has been arrested. A group of people called a jury decided that he should be charged with murder, not just for being careless, but for murder. Because that's what he did. But Denise's family wants more than just Cleveland to be punished. They want the hospitals and doctors to do better. They want to make sure no other person has to die the way Denise died. They are going to court to sue the medical system. They want the doctors to learn from their mistakes. They want new rules that will help other people get tested for HIV sooner. This isn't just about money. This is about making the world safer for everyone. The family knows that Denise can't come back, but maybe their fight can save someone else's mother or wife or sister. Denise Broadie died in April 2022. She should still be here today. She should have been able to take that trip to Italy. She should have been able to see her grandchildren graduate. She should have been able to make her own choices about her life and her health. Cleveland stole all of that from her. But we can make sure Denise's death wasn't for nothing. We can learn from what happened to her. We can talk more openly about HIV. We can make sure people get tested. We can teach people that they must tell the truth to people they love. We can make sure doctors test for HIV when someone's body isn't working right. We can recognize when someone is being hurt by a person who is supposed to love them. Most importantly, we can remember that every person deserves to know the truth about their own body. Every person deserves to make their own choices about their health and their life. Denise deserved better. She deserved honesty. She deserved love. She deserved to live. Her story isn't over as long as we keep fighting to make sure this never happens to anyone else. Justice for Denise means making sure no other family has to cry the way her family is crying. Justice for Denise means Cleveland paying for what he did. Justice for Denise means changing the world, so it's harder for people like Cleveland to hurt people like Denise. That's what we owe her. That's what we owe everyone. The fight for justice never ends. And neither does our memory of Denise Broadie, a woman who deserved so much better than what Cleveland gave her. If you're still here, if you watched Denise's entire story, then you understand something important. This could happen to anyone. Your sister, your mother, your best friend, you. Cleveland Broadie wasn't a monster hiding in the shadows. He was a husband. A man who said, "I love you" every day, while slowly killing the woman who trusted him most. This is why Denise's story matters. This is why we can't look away. Right now, someone somewhere is being lied to by someone they love. Someone is getting sicker and doesn't know why. Someone is trusting a person who doesn't deserve that trust. But here's what gives me hope. Denise's family didn't stay quiet. They fought back. They demanded justice. They turned their pain into power, and now you know Denise's story too. You know what betrayal looks like when it wears the mask of love. You know that silence kills and that truth saves lives. So what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to share this story so others can learn from it? Are you going to have honest conversations about HIV and testing? Are you going to recognize the signs when someone you know is being hurt? Are you going to speak up when you see injustice? Are you going to believe survivors when they tell you their truth? Cleveland thought he could kill Denise and get away with it. He thought her story would die with her. He was wrong. Denise's story is alive in every person who refuses to stay silent about abuse. It's alive in every law that gets changed to protect innocent people. It's alive in every family that demands accountability from the systems that failed them. It's alive in you right now as you decide what to do next. Denise Broadie deserved better. She deserved honesty. She deserved love. She deserved to live. We can't give her back her life, but we can make sure her death changes everything. That's justice. That's love. That's how we honor the memory of a woman who believed the best about people, even when they didn't deserve it. Don't let Denise down. Don't let her story end here. Make it count.